What up, world? You already know what time it is. It's Mac Miss, the host with the most, never needed to brag no most. All we ever did was give a toast to the real folks who done paved the way in the real way. So the put. Parlay this good game for y'all today. But yo, there's a minute left, man. It's 110, 105. Shout out to OKC. They're doing their thing. What you saying, player?
Yeah, I'm blessed, man. I'm here. Blessed and highly favored for sure.
There's a minute and a half left, man. Yeah.
You saying you're on it right now?
Yep. 13 points, 4-point game. 110, 106.
On it right now.
Yeah. The game's on right now. Two clutch free throws by Nimhard. Each team with multiple timeouts. We got your money on tonight. OKC, huh? Somebody needs to shoot.
It could go either way. You know, I'm happy with whoever goes, but
Dr. Halliburton.
I'm an underdog person myself, so I'm going for Indiana.
It's a 1-point game now. 40 seconds left. 10 seconds. SG has the ball, passes it up. Strike down to 5.
Indiana.
Indiana is going to challenge. Okay.
Who you got?
Got a 1-point lead. 1-point lead, man. I'm going for the Pacers.
Going with OKC, huh?
I'm going for the Pacers. Just because I like Mathurin's story, you know? I like what Mathurin did.
Shay's your guy, huh?
Yo. Yeah, he'll be back. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a good series, man. If all the games are like this, but I think they need to play a little bit more aggressively throughout the game. I mean, they're going good on all on it. They're going hard in the fourth, but I feel like he could be more hype, you know, throughout the game. I think they know this is all passed down. They are challenging, but maybe it's wrong. But right now, the Knicks, Cleveland, Milwaukee, all talking about OKC fans. We told you so. This team is relentless. They do not stop. It doesn't matter what the score is. They're going to touch. These playoffs after trailing
That's the loose ball you guys going forward, and they even marginal concept. Siakam obviously tough one. You think so?
22 seconds left. 110, 109. See what SGA does with the ball. Bricks it. Pacers have it. A chance to win it. Halliburton wins the game. Tyrese Halliburton. Woo! Tyrese with the clutch basket. 0.3 seconds left. Woo! What a game. He's a walking double-double, this guy. Guy just has range, dog. Yes. He has crazy range. I don't know what it is with this kid.
And now there's 3/10 of the second remaining. Plenty of time for catch and shoot. I love that they didn't call a timeout. Don't allow them to get the matchups they want. Trust your guy. And I like the Byron Carlisle because they have one timeout. So if you miss it, foul, you have a chance to advance. That's why they have to go. So exceeded the down. They still have one timeout. If they have trouble getting it in, they're going to put all the timeout on the inbound of Russo. This has to be a catch and shoot. No dribble, no turn.
No dribble, no turn. 3/10 of a second left.
Yeah.
Pacers win, man. Yo, I can't hear you, though.
Pardon?
I can hear you now. You see me? Yeah. Y'all. Bad man know about. Yo. You hear me? Press 1 if you hear me.
Yeah.
Yo. Come on, StreamYard. Yeah, I'm messing up the church's money. Nah, I think it's his connection over there. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a better connection, man. But yo, 111 to 110. 0.3 seconds left. They can't even shoot. Catch and shoot. They got to tap that shit in. Look. Knocked away. Indiana steals game 1. Yo, let me open the panel because this shit is live and direct. Yeah. Salute my dude Leaf. You come on, jump on the panel, Leaf. We gotta chop this game up. Yo, this one was one for the record books. This was one for the record books.
Oh
One
man.
for the record books.
Yeah. Listen, I said the Pacers
Yo,
was going. I said the Pacers was going to win the game.
Knicks
Look,
fans is sick.
nah, real rap. I said the Pacers was going to win the game, but like, I ain't gonna lie. These OKC niggas, they done fumbled at the 1 yard line, bro. Like
But
they
yo,
pulled.
did you see Halliburton?
Oh
He's
yeah,
like,
I seen him. I
I'm
seen
not.
him.
I'm not gonna take this three. I'm gonna step in and take a more conservative shot. You know.
Most go, yeah. Halliburton, yeah, man, they came alive in that fourth quarter. It was really Miles Turner that really turned up in that fourth.
Yeah, Miles Turner turned it
Miles
on.
Turner, he got some shots to go. I already said the league wasn't too safe, bro. Like because OKC is accustomed to forcing a lot of turnovers down the stretch of games and getting a lot of fast break points. They forced turnovers. They just couldn't get nothing really on a fast break. I think
Yeah,
Indiana kind of weathered the storm.
they weathered the storm. Yeah. That's what they
I
do. They
thought
keep bringing.
most of the game. I mean, I thought they played through a lot of the bumps. They played through a lot of the mistakes. I doubted if they win another game like this again, bro, with turning the ball over like they did. But I mean, cause I think they had
This
like
was
20
a
something.
steal. They stole this game,
Yeah,
yo.
they stole this. Yeah, they stole this game. I said they was going. I said they was going to win the game. I said they was going to win the game. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't expect
They
OKC
were
to
down
fumble.
15 the whole game.
Yeah, nah, they was down double digits the whole game. They was down like at least a good 12, 11, 11, 12 points most of the game.
That's
But
crazy.
the fourth quarter, Miles Turner really turned up, man. I mean, in that fourth, they shooters, some of they shooters got hot. Siakam was the only person that could get something all game, realistically. I
Right,
mean,
right.
they kept going to Siakam like crazy.
Let
That's
me
what
ask
I'm
you guys
saying.
this:
Spicy P, right? He's
Yeah.
but got the
if you
most
look at it,
championship experience on the
he's
team?
the only one that got championship pedigree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, him. I mean, I guess if you add Caruso, bro, like if you
Oh
want to
yeah,
say,
Caruso.
if you
You're
want
right,
to
you're
say
right.
Caruso, bro,
Nah,
like we could say that. But I mean, Siakam was a key piece on that Toronto team, bro.
exactly.
That won. So
He was not no
yeah, he
Nah,
wasn't a bench player. 'Cause,
Siakam was
like
Caruso was a key
Siak,
piece too though. You can't diss
Siakam can.
Caruso.
If you go back to that Toronto series, Siakam came out and put up 32 on Draymond. So
clutch.
No, yeah. He did.
yeah. So if we really look at it, bro,
He
like I
peaked
mean,
Draymond.
Siakam ain't scared of nobody in this series. I think he taking advantage of a lot of his opportunities.
Forgot about that.
I said Indiana could trick up OKC, bro, for probably one game, because the reality is they didn't. I thought OKC had an interesting lineup, bro. They started Case and Wallace instead of Hartenstein. I thought they was gonna start Hartenstein to try to battle more on the boards. I'm like, if you got Hartenstein to battle on the boards, and he could get
Right.
more of the boards, you know what I'm saying? Because Indiana don't really offensive rebound that well. They gang
No, they
rebound,
don't.
bro. They a gang rebounding team. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
When
So if
Miles
you
Turner's not on the court, they can't rebound.
right, when Miles Turner's on and not on the court, they can't really rebound. Siakam could rebound a little bit, but he's not somebody that's gonna
Yeah, he doesn't.
impose in the paint.
Yeah, he's gonna do that.
The
No.
problem is that OKC could trick themselves up by going too small in this series. You know what I'm saying? So they can't really afford to go small. But yo, let me cool my phone down, bro. Like shit, I gotta turn this shit off. Hold up. I'll be back.
Luen's Dort.
yeah. All right, so
Luen's
yo, let me
Dort.
ask you this. Let me ask you guys this:
Mm.
who on OKC was killing it this game, and whatever they didn't finish the game, but who was killing it this game? Because I didn't get to watch the game. So who on OKC was killing it? Who was the difference?
Shea was the man, you know. Shea scored all the clutch buckets. He hit a big three at the end of at the half and at the end of the third.
Yeah.
So Shea and you got who else was? Oh, Lugan's Dort. He hit like what
Dort,
6 threes?
Dort was doing it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
he hit 6 threes. That's about it. I mean,
After ball player, who was the after ball player for OKC? Made the difference off the ball.
off the ball, none of them really. From this
Not even
game,
Dort. Lugans wasn't doing the cleaning up, doing the
well,
dirty
yeah,
work.
he was playing defense. He was a real defensive presence. That's the thing about it, though. You know, they stole this game, but the way Dort was bullying these guys, they're gonna be ready for them in the second game. It's Chet though, because Chet, I feel like they're trying to replace. They're trying to make another OKC team like when Kevin Durant was on it. So they got, but Chet can't. He ain't no Kevin Durant. It's gonna be something watching this game, man. For real. It was a good game. Siakam at 19, Halliburton 14 and 10, 6 assists. Turner at 15, Nemhard at 14. Shea had 38. The rest of them had less than 20. So team basketball. They're both playing team basketball. They're both staying active. Yeah, man. For two teams that are not like big market teams, it was a good NBA game win for the NBA Finals. You know, I think it's a good look in terms of basketball and the way it's supposed to be played, and the way like it was up and it wasn't up and down, but it was more. You could see that Indiana was still fighting no matter what the score was, you know?
Yeah.
Which is how you have to play basketball, you know what I'm saying? It's 48 minutes. We'll start the
They know
finish.
what the fact lady sings, yeah. That's a fact.
When they start slowing down, thinking like, oh, you got this in the bag, then
yeah,
shit could change, you know? In a heartbeat. So
good 5 to 8 minute stretch, a whole lot could happen.
Exactly. Because they were down at least 10. And there was 6 minutes left. Okay. And then they hit two threes. I think Tompkin had like 6 threes too. Obi Tompkin. So Obi Tompkin hit like 6 threes. And he hit that 1 3, and then Miles Turner came back and he hit a 3, and then he hit a nice shot, you know. So it was all around team basketball. I like the way the Pacers play ball. I can't even lie. Still.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You play properly today.
Because Nemhard is a defensive specialist, so he's kind of like picking up the slack for Halliburton.
Yeah.
Halliburton's clutch, you know, so kind of complement each other on the same team, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing about winning championship teams, you know. You have to have defensive specialists, you know. People that
Lou Dort is a defensive beast too.
Well, yeah, Lou Dort for sure.
So we can't sleep on the man, you know. For the next couple games, I feel like he's gonna make a crazy impact.
For sure. For sure. But if he has to score a bunch of points and defend a whole lot, gonna be something still. Czech got to step it up.
Yeah.
Czech can't be having those 17 points now. He has to have at least 25. You gotta give me at least 25 and 10. No? Chet Holmgren, he's 7 foot. He can shoot threes. Supposed to be their what? Franchise player? No, not the franchise player, but
Major role player.
yeah, you know. So we'll see. Tyrese Halliburton had 14 points, 6 assists, and 10 rebounds.
That's a big game. That's a big game still, especially in the finals. Yeah.
As
If
a,
he keeps that up, if he keeps that same momentum up,
yeah, that's a good game for a guard.
there's gonna be a problem for them for sure.
It's a good game for a guard. 10 rebounds? Come on.
Yeah.
For a
It's
guard?
healthy.
For a
It's
point guard?
healthy. That's healthy. Super healthy.
I don't know why Shea's laying on his back. Every time he gets hit, he's laying on his back on the court.
That's how you get. That's his thing, right? He's like he's a flop artist.
I know. New York Knicks fans are sick right now. They're sick. They're like, how the hell? That should be us. Nah, man. Y'all got whooped. I got mollywopped by the Pacers. 6 games. But yeah, man, it's good. It's gonna be a good finals. It's gonna be a good finals, man. I think SGA is gonna step it up a little bit more.
Next game, oh yeah. He's going right to the
get more people. Yeah, he's gonna.
He's going right to the gym.
Nigga, yo, he had 38 points, dog.
Mm-hmm.
That should show you how much he was scoring the basket, you know?
Yeah.
And just stole it. They just stole it from under his nose, like.
That's crazy.
So, who's next on the board? You got Tyrese Halliburton, Nemhard, Pascal Siakam. 13 point. How much do you have? 19 points. You got to give me at least 25 and 10 too. But he been doing this thing. It's crazy because when he got drafted, he came from the NBA Academy. Played in that for a bit.
What are you talking about?
No. That's the wrong person. That's Matchery. My bad. Pascal Siakam. He played in the African League, but he wasn't really good at basketball. He was just athletic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to be in the second time in the NBA Finals is a testament to his athleticism, bro. Because when I see him play, he's not that skillful, you know, but that nigga athletic.
And he's a dog. He goes after it too.
It's just natural to him or something. You know what I mean?
He's got hunger too.
Yeah, he got hunger. So that'll teach you how, like, it's not always about skill, you know?
Right.
About how your body is, you know? How hungry you are, you know? You can learn the skill later on, you know. More repetition, more practice. He scored like what, 1-3 in the whole game? But
Right.
yeah, he did good. He did good.
It's the it could show young athletes that, like you just said, it's not always about skill. You know, uh, if you're willing to do the dirty work, you'll find a spot on a team. You know, be the difference maker on the off the ball. You'll find a spot on a team. Coaches look for those kind of players too. You know, it's not all about points all the time. You need those guys who are willing to and get their hands dirty too. You know.
Exactly.
And Siakam is one of those
That
guys.
separates the men from the boys, because then
No
you're
agent.
looking at it like,
Is it?
oh, I could do more than just score, you know.
Yeah.
Scoring is a part of it, but if you can't read a defense or you can't, you know,
Make up
anticipate
your
a play,
spots. Disrupt
make a few
the
stops, you know.
offense. You know?
Exactly, you know. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it was good. Mitch was
So this is
that felt like a normal Tuesday, but Mac was on time because he's always late. So yeah, it was fun. Right from the start, we had a good time, and we all played pretty nicely. And,
some highlights from the game, you know.
on five, which was really cool. So
I don't want to put the light on the volume up because I don't want to get a streak, you know. Man. But if you look at the way the game is being played, it looks like OKC got way in the whole time, right?
Yeah.
40 a.m. Eastern Time, 3:45 Pacific on TSN and TSN.
Oh, I know what that OKC. Oh shoot.
In the books, we're going to head back to OKC with Javon Shepherd standing by with any more reaction after a shot. That was crazy. Plus, after playing together down the stretch.
So it looked like OKC was like the better team throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
But you could see that the Pacers, they're still playing at their own pace. Yeah, you know. Okay, you scored. Okay, we're coming back.
No problem. We're here. We're still here though. Type attitude,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Tickets on sale now. We Canadians rarely use our cool, especially with a $3 Harvey's milkshake.
And you make that shot? Damn, son.
They started out jittery, you know.
Yeah.
And Shea made them pay, you know what I'm saying? But the thing about Shea, he needs to he plays a lot of ISO balls, you know. He needs to like get his players involved a little bit better. In my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, he's a shooting guard, so. OKC starts out with a 7-0 run. And then they start going inside to Miles Turner. So that's what they got to do. For the next game, they got to keep going inside. Pick and roll basketball, you know?
Yeah.
In terms of coaches, I think the Pacers have a better coach, you know? More experienced, more seasoned. You know?
Who's that? Siakam?
Yeah, you see how Siakam got to the basket there? That's what he does, you know? He's the athleticism.
And he's kind of a big body too, a little bit longer.
Yeah, he's a big body. Yeah, he has like the athleticism of like a shooting guard, you know.
Yeah.
But he's a power forward, you know. So it works. It works for them.
Past the Panthers in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. After starting on separate lines, Chris Knobloch put the dynamic duo back together late in the second period.
Mathurin play at all?
Yeah, Mathurin played. Put in some good minutes, man. Mathurin had a big block. You know, he scored some clutch baskets. Mathurin's one of those players that once he gets into his own, he's gonna start scoring. He's gonna have 30-point games on a regular, bro.
Yeah,
I see it. He just has to get into his own and not worried about the contact too much. Once he starts like hitting the gym and shit like that, you can see. He had a big block on who was it? On Heinrich.
I thought we did a good job of that half of the game, and obviously they're incredibly dynamic.
Heinrich's what, their center, I think.
The Oilers as slight favorites to win Game 2 as Edmonton improved to 7-1 at home in these playoffs.
Miles Turner got that little kickback jump shot, you know. Anybody want to come up on the panel, you know, chop it up about this game, you know? The link is in the comments. Tell me how y'all feel about it. You know? Feels a good game. One of the better first game ones in playoff history, actually. You know? If you really break it down, think about it. These guys were up the whole game. The last 10 seconds, Halliburton came with a 2-pointer. Fundamental shot. You know what I'm saying?
right.
All of a sudden, he's wide open for a 2-pointer. He wins the game.
Ooh. Okay.
When he wasn't with McDavid, the one early in the game, and of course the overtime winner is when they're on the ice together. And I think it's so important for the Oilers to have Draisaitl performing in this series. One thing that might be possible from last year's final is that Draisaitl's been such a great playoff player.
Chet Holmgren, he was getting bodied in the paint. He can't. Miles Turner is too much.
No love. He said you better hit the gym. Telling him you better hit the gym with that shit. Yeah. Get big.
And so, I think the mix right now allows the Oilers to do a little bit of both, depending on what happens.
Yeah, this is the first quarter highlights.
Especially down the stretch in this game. What's your sense of Skinner right now? Well, we're looking for ways the Oilers might feel more comfortable the second time around.
So shout out to them. Doing it big. Let's see what other Lakers fans' pages are saying.
In the stretch of games, and that's what happened here tonight. This is what the finals are all about. I mean, who wouldn't want to sign up for this? Unless you're a Thunder fan. Obviously, you got your heart broken tonight, but man, it's fun. Lizzie, it's a lot of fun to watch Halliburton and the Pacers. They're never out of it. Even when you think they're out of it, I thought they were done. I even tweeted Thunder in 4 the way they came out here playing the first quarter. Please. Pacers just sized them up. And there was something, Halliburton was mic'd up. There was something he said. He said he was nervous to start. He's being honest. But now he's settled in. And he had that look in his face like, yeah. He knew he was going to have his moment. And he capitalized. Wow. That's just that's what legends are made of, man. We might be really looking at a legend in the making. If the Pacers end up winning this playoff, if they end up winning this championship, we're gonna look at this team as one of the most underrated underdog championship teams ever. and they could, maybe there is the start of their dynasty. Who knows? But that was really special to watch tonight.
Yep.
Let's see. If you're against the Pacers,
Or,
even if you're up plus 15 with 2 minutes,
What you said?
remember Reggie Miller
Huh?
when Reggie Miller was on board?
Yeah.
That
Reggie Miller gave the MVP to Spicy P. He's the one that was there. But I think Reggie Miller needs to work with Halliburton. If he doesn't already,
yeah.
get him a little bit more clutch, a little bit more, aggressive towards attacking the basket and shit. But he's pretty clutch still. He knows what he's doing on the court.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he got 10 rebounds. Bro. So if he's not scoring, at least he's rebounding the ball,
You
What
have
is he,
to
like
believe in
6'4"?
himself a little bit more. I don't know if he realized that he's in the final.
Exactly. So he just
Yo,
figured
bro,
it
you
out.
made it to the finals, dog. Just carry yourself with poise and you'll follow through,
Yeah. Because they had a fight to get there too. I feel like OKC had a easy,
Yeah.
an easy road to the final.
Compared to Indiana,
Yeah. Blowing everybody out. So, and then again, I don't know. But they beat the Timberwolves pretty easy, no? So maybe the East isn't as weak as we think it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
We Canadians rarely lose our
Yeah.
especially with a $3 Harvey's milkshake. Creamy and spun Canadian dairy. Harvey's milkshakes and frozen drinks, only $3 all summer long. All right, let's hear from the MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, this is the MVP talking right now. Listen.
Basketball ups and downs. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it now. Just got to be better for next game.
Yep. Aside of the Oklahoma, Shea, was this reminiscent of Game 1 Denver at all for you? You guys control most of the game. They come back late, and if so, can you sort of draw back on that experience?
Yeah, we just got to focus on being better. The series isn't 1-1; it's 1-4. So we have 4 more games to get. They have 3, and that's just where we are. We got to understand that, and we got to get to 4 before they get to 3 if we want to win the NBA championship. And then it's that simple. It's not rocket science. We lost Game 1. We have to be better.
Nick on the right.
Shea, in being better, what do you feel are some controllables, particularly on the offensive end of the floor, just given the
Yo,
number
you hear
of
it?
you guys got in the paint?
Yeah.
Downhill, it seemed like you guys were getting downhill a lot, but those shots weren't going down.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure. It's hard to have that answer 20 minutes after the game. But yeah, for sure, we definitely areas to get better on both ends of the floor, and the next 2 days before try to get better, and then come out here and be a better team for game 2.
Benny here on the left.
Jay, Benny Carlson with Oklahoma. You guys have, when you've had games that have slipped through your fingers in these playoffs, you've found a way to come back and make good on that. But in the finals, with the pressure being what it is, how can you guys make sure that you do that again? Or is this kind of an unknown because you guys as a group haven't been to this point yet?
Yeah, I think as much as we can, we just got to treat it like every other game. Every other situation we've been in. Yes, we haven't been in this situation, but it doesn't mean our character has to change or what we did last time. It's still basketball. It's still a game of basketball that we grew up playing. The rules don't change just because we're in the finals. So it's like been in this situation before. In another situation, we handled it well. We were better for game 2, and that's the goal.
Tim, on your right, third row. Tim McMahon, ESPN. Shay, I'm sure you are aware just the crazy clutch run that Halliburton's on in the playoffs all season long, really. He's got the ball in his hand, last seconds ticking down. What's that feel like for you?
I don't know. It happened so fast. I think we got matched. He got down going right, pulled up from the midi, and knocked down the shot. I don't know. It didn't feel like anything crazy. He just made a play with the time winding down. Made a good play.
Michael Graves, the middle.
Hey, I mean, you guys had a long layoff. You talked before the game about sort of trying to fill that time. How do you feel like you responded? The energy in the building and the energy the Pacers brought in the early part of the game, at least.
Yeah, I thought we were pretty good. We had control of the game for the most part of it. Now it is a 48-minute game, and they teach you that lesson more than anyone else in the league, the hard way. But yeah, I thought we came out with the right intentions, right energy. The crowd was amazing, obviously. We just got to do a better job of closing.
Shea and the Thunder will have to regroup after that loss, but it's only a matter of time before Gilgeous-Alexander overtakes Jamal Murray's all-time record for points by a Canadian in a single playoff run. With more, let's go back to Wes.
Joined now by Javon Shepard. Javon.
Yeah, man. So what you think? You ready for game?
They got some fighting to do, man. They got to fight back. I don't know.
Fight back for real.
I think Shea is gonna have another amazing game, but I feel like Indiana's gonna come out on top again.
Yeah.
And it might not be by the skin of their teeth this time. They might actually get a decent lead. Say about a 8-point difference by the end of the game. You know?
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like OKC is underestimating this team a little bit. And that's why they lost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, in other news, you see what's going on in Toronto? And doing some trap shit. They're saying they got rappers that are pulling off hits for the mob, yo.
Oh yeah.
So let's check this one out real quick. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out. Y'all just figuring that shit out. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
They act like Toronto's sweet and Canada's sweet or something. Check this out.
With the price on his head, was killed by 2 rappers, while the man standing next to him remained untouched until he went on a run and was assassinated in Mexico. And just months after the hit, one of the rappers would be assassinated himself when he was found dead in a home before he could ever be brought to trial. For years now, the police in Ontario have argued that the mafia is using young gang members to carry out targeted hits. Now, if you're not familiar with the gang politics in Canada, the mob is alive and well there. Targeted hits are being carried out by young men paid big money by the mob in an attempt most likely to cover up their own involvement. Flipper is a Toronto rapper from a hood called Jungle in Lawrence Heights, and YS is another Toronto rapper from Shoreham Courts. These are two young men that had reputations on the street, as YS was known as a shooter, somewhat controversially, as I've even seen him being accused of hitting an innocent victim in one instance, while Flipper, also known as Postman, is reputed to be a shooter and a bank robber, with him being identified in shootings from Alberta to Ontario since all the way back in 2013, which for reference, Calgary, a city in Alberta, to Toronto, a city in Ontario, is about a 33-hour drive, so it's safe to say that this guy's been getting active all over Canada, and this is likely what put him on the radar of the Mafia in York. Now, Antonio Fiorda was known as a mobster in Canada, and the police associate him with the Camiso crime family, which is part of the Saderno group. Now, the Saderno is a huge criminal association related to Ndrangheta, which is widely considered to be the most powerful mafia in Europe, although it's less centralized than you might think, as it's divided into several different families. But in Canada, it's called the Saderno because the first mobsters associated with Ndrangheta to come over to Canada came from the small town of Saderno in southern Italy. And obviously the main branch of the Camiso crime family is in southern Italy, but they have a very dangerous branch in the greater Toronto area, also known as GTA. Now, Antonio, also known as Tony or Scratch due to his gravel voice, had been laying low for some time after his release from prison, as in 1996, Tony was arrested when police not only found an AK-47, but also several explosives at his home in North York. Now, according to an associate of his, Tony was a made man, an enforcer, and a loan shark, but somebody wanted it. Now, since 2016, he had been working as sort of a bodyguard for a money man in the mafia. This money man had been the victim of a home invasion and robbery, probably because of the money he was laundering, which led to a senior member of the Camiso family requesting that Tony work for him. Could the same people that robbed his money be the ones that wanted Tony out of the way? Well, it's hard to say, and this money man was never identified, nor the city that the home invasion took place in. And this is definitely one thing that separates the mob from a regular street gang. The code of silence is actually followed, and even when some associates are willing to provide information, you probably still won't get the whole story. What I do know is that Tony wasn't killed until 3 years after this home invasion, so if it was the same people behind both attacks, either they were really patient or Tony was just hard to catch. After all, being known as an enforcer, he wasn't a rookie and definitely would have known how to move around, as mafia hits take place every year in Canada. But when he was caught, of course it was a situation involving another person, which sound like a setup to some people. But nothing has been proven. Tony was in Etobicoke, an area in Toronto, on Monday, November 4th in 2019 to meet an associate of his named Joseph Catrappa. They were most likely scheduled to have dinner at Via Allegro. Now, it's unclear whether they had already had dinner, but since some reports state that Joseph was standing beside Tony out in the parking lot, it's implied that they were just leaving the restaurant. But as they stepped out into the parking lot, a Ford F-150 pulled up, and Tony was ambushed by two men that hopped out and shot him down. But Catrappa was left untouched. But out of the 4 people at this crime scene, only 2 would survive a full year after this. Catrappa immediately fled to Cancun, Mexico, where he stayed at a hotel and resort, but 10 months after the murder of Tony, Catrappa would be himself murdered at this same hotel in 2020. Now, Catrappa was also associated with the Musitano crime family, which was headed by brothers Pat and Angelo Musitano. Both brothers, though, have since been killed. Now, as for the 2 rappers, Flipper and YS, just 1 year later, the Toronto police would end up discovering who the 2 shooters were in Tony's case. Flipper was arrested, but YS, who authorities identified as the one who actually fired the fatal shots, couldn't be arrested because he was found dead inside of a residence 4 months earlier. And although Flipper, aka Postman, would allude to the fact that YS should have been the only suspect, he never actually said YS was the shooter, likely trying not to place himself at the scene. But when asked about a picture of him and YS holding a large sum of money, he states that the money all belonged to YS. Now, the Crown prosecutors state that the 2 men were paid $60,000 for the hit, but they provided no evidence of who actually paid them, probably because they had none. Now, obviously, the only living man on the case couldn't indicate who paid him without implicating himself in the crime, but it's likely he didn't even fully know who it was that paid him. If what Canadian authorities say is true, and that the mob has been paying low-level street guys to do their dirty work, it's likely that they were also smart enough to remain anonymous while doing it. But who would have wanted Tony dead? The two rappers are less important in this part of the story because it's clear that they were just pawns. YS was probably killed to tie up a loose end, or by the Camiso family themselves if they figured out who the shooters were. And Flipper was a crash out, and the Mafia most likely knew this, so he was definitely disposable. Now, the Camiso family has many enemies, and almost a year before Tony's death, in July 2018, Cosimo Camiso, the nephew of other Cosimo Camiso, who holds a leadership role in the Mafia, was sitting in a vehicle with his girl Chantel on Castle Point Drive in Woodbridge, Ontario. And this is when they were ambushed and killed. Now, despite the fact that there's only 2 ways in to this fairly closed off residential area, this double side remains unsolved. The blame, however, has been pointed at the Wolfpack Alliance, who Cosimo had allegedly clashed with the year before. Now, the Wolfpack Alliance is much younger than traditional crime families in Ontario, and it's also not a single group but a loose alliance of millennial-aged gangsters, and it was founded by an older member of the Hells Angels, Larry Amaro. Now, the Wolfpack Alliance is huge, and they've been known to be involved in drug trafficking and even several gang wars, specifically in Montreal. And the group is no stranger to murder, as they've dished it out and been on the receiving end, but there is still no definitive proof that they were behind the murder of Cosimo or the murder for hire carried out by the 2 rappers. Now, I find it very strange that 5 years later, there still isn't much evidence on who provided the payment. The authorities know that the $60,000 came from somewhere, and they seem to be sure that the Mafia is paying low-level street guys, but it doesn't seem like they have much physical evidence. Clearly, the 2 gang members wouldn't just randomly target and execute a made man connected to an Italian crime syndicate for no reason. This wasn't a robbery or some revenge attack, and it's likely that the attackers and the victim didn't even know each other. And with YS dead, Postman had no chance, as there just so happened to be undercover cops sitting in the parking lot watching the whole thing through binoculars. And he ended up being found guilty of this as well as another murder and sentenced to life. Now, even if he did have information on the mob to give authorities, it likely wouldn't have helped his case, as not only did the undercover agents testify against him, but also one of his getaway drivers. And not to mention, he probably didn't have the level of information law enforcement could have used to bring down any crime syndicate. So we have 3 dead and 1 in prison in a clear mob hit, while the true perpetrators remain unknown. But just how common is this practice? Claudia Iacono was murdered in front of her beauty salon in a brazen attack, with 4 people later being arrested. And what the media was sure to point out is that she was the daughter-in-law of mob boss Moreno Gallo, who was killed in Mexico. Now, in the attack on her, there was no robbery. She was shot in her car, but no Grand Theft Auto took place. So it looks like this was just another targeted hit. Canada is more dangerous than a lot of us Americans will give it credit for, and I have vastly understated just how many mafia killings have taken place over the last 10 years. In the US, whatever business the mafia has going on is mostly kept under wraps. Every now and then in New York or Philly you'll hear something, but there seems to be more back and forth shootings between organized crime groups in Canada, more resembling the US mob activity from decades ago. It's not just the low-level gang members and drill rappers. There are multi-million-dollar operations, cartel connections, and cold-blooded wars happening within our northern neighbor. But if you'd like to hear me go deeper on this subject, just let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, man. It be like that in Canada. That's why
Can't sleep on it.
I'm happy that we have some Canadians in the NBA Finals. You know, we just get some inspired to me. A lot of them are caught up in the same bullshit that they're talking about. You know?
Right.
And you're like, it's a trickle down effect. You know what I'm saying?
Big facts.
Give their life away for something that they have no leverage in. You know? It's sad. It's sad. Game 2 is Saturday, I think. So we'll watch game 2 on Saturday. Same Mac time, same Mac channel. You know what I'm talking about? We're gonna chop it up. I feel like as a Canadian, this was one of the best finals we ever had.
Mhm.
We need to keep pushing the kids towards athletics, you know.
Yeah, for their own greatness, for sure.
There's a way out, and
They can do it. They can do it. It's hard out here in Montreal, you know. It's easy to get discouraged and thrown into a cycle of disappointment, more or less. You know what it is, dog. It happened to a lot of us coming up. You know, a lot of us had plenty of talent. You know, we could have went plenty of different directions, but due to the discouragement and the inconsistency of our city's uh, athletic infrastructure, it could be discouraging. You know, a lot of these youth are going through it, so we got to be able to play our part and push them in a productive and prosperous direction.
yeah, that's like too. You know, it's like you have to lead by example. You know, you can't just be out here telling people what to do, and you ain't doing it yourself.
Yeah.
It's one thing, you know. But you got boots on the ground. People respect it. They recognize it. You know. Um, it keeps you grounded too, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's always some kid out there that's gonna want some help, or some parent out there that's gonna need somebody to talk to their son. You know,
Yeah.
or daughter. Right. So we just gotta keep ourselves in tune with what's going on, the pulse.
Yep.
For the community, you know.
Nah, but for sure, this definitely helps. It's very inspiring. So shout out to Dort and Matherin, because is what we need to see.
SGA and them hard for Toronto too, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to them boys, man. Keeping T Dot in alignment of greatness.
But they probably went through their little bullshit out there in Tita as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit is real. Shit is real in the field out there, baby. So we're gonna end this one right here, man. But we're gonna be back. What is it? Saturday night. If I don't do another show, we're gonna be back for game 2, man.
Straight up.
Same Mac time, same Mac channel. We're gonna chop up a lot of different other topics, you know. We're gonna cover the Diddy case, all that. You know. Yeah, man. You got any last final thoughts you want to share about the game or the city?
Nah, not even. I'll
City.
just say, for all the young people out there, believe in yourself, because you could do it. Just look at Matherin and Dort.
Yep. Believe in
Montreal,
yourself.
you know.
Work hard. We got people that paved the way for y'all.
Yep.
So you gotta steady the course, you know what I'm saying? And
Yes,
on that
sir.
note, we'll be back tomorrow. Same Mac time, same Mac channel.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
You know my slogan. Keep it real in the field. Forget how they feel. I'm out. Peace. In the Middle East.